Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So Pulsechain, it's really time for another Pulsechain stream. It's been a long time and things are flying. Hex is flying and Pulsechain has really broken a key level, which is looking very, very bullish. So it's really all happening. The predictions that we made on this channel years ago about where Pulsechain would be and how the story might unfold for maximum benefit seems to be happening before our eyes. So Pulsechain is the blessed chain, and this is a new city, and we have the prime real estate. It's like New York in the 1700s or whenever New York was founded. We have the prime real estate as investors owning the tokens, as liquidity providers owning the businesses, and as developers creating the businesses on the blockchain. So let's take a look at what's been happening. So first I'm going to go over my thesis that I outlined a long time ago on the chain. Oh, we don't want this one. We want, what about if I do this one? Oh, that's cheeky. That's cheeky. Maybe I'll do this one. This is a bit better, isn't it? Don't need to see so much in my head. Right. So the Pulsechain thesis. So maximum price suppression. So the things that we were predicting was maximum price suppression, exiting of weekends, all of that. And what have we seen in the chart? It's been it's been down and to the right, down and to the right. So it's the opposite of the direction that we want, but is it really the opposite of the direction that we want? As an accumulator, it's the best thing that you possibly want. As a believer, it's the best thing that you possibly want, because everybody who doesn't really believe, they're getting shaken out, they're leaving. But everybody who does believe, they're accumulating en masse at prices that probably we'll never ever see again. So just like Hex, with its low prices when it first launched, has now created a cult following of holders and believers, Pulsechain now and the core assets will also create that core following of core cult-like believers. Defeating the SEC. So this was something, when it happened, everything about it seemed wrong. It didn't seem like our destiny to be defeated by the SEC. There was too much goodness that was happening on this blockchain for us to disappear into the shadows like this. And what happened? We defeated, Richard Hart defeated the SEC. So we're one of the only blockchains, one of the only cryptocurrencies with cryptocurrency regulatory clarity. Gradual onboarding of new waves of influencers. So we've seen people like Donovan Jolly, DIY investing. We've seen Ivan on Tech become more and more voicing his opinions about Pulsechain. They might not necessarily be positive, but he's got his eyes on it because the community is really in his face. Ran Nuna pretty much has one of the biggest cryptocurrency channels on the planet with over 1 million subscribers. These aren't small-time influencers. Ivan on Tech has 500,000. So we needed to see these people start to talk about it, start to acknowledge it. Whether it's bullish or not, doesn't matter. Their eyes are on it. Once the charts start going green, they'll start talking about it in very bullish ways. Donovan obviously is very bullish on Pulsechain. He's always tweeting about it. But the waves of influencers is increasing over time. And those waves of influencers, as we start to get green charts, will influence their whole field, their whole audience, but also the other influencers which watch those influencers, because you can bet those influencers all watch the best influencer in all of cryptocurrency, my friend Sommi, your friend Sommi, our friend Sommi. He is literally the best, without a shadow of a doubt. The best, probably some of the best TA, some of the best insight, some of the best ideas, like content output, humor, just everything about his content is, we have the best influencer in cryptocurrency on Pulsechain, and he's not being quiet about it. And because of people like him, and I would say almost largely because of him, the waves of other influencers are noticing Pulsechain. So thank you very much, Sommi. We love you. We absolutely love you. Pulsechain runs last. So the Altseason, the maximum marketing. This was always the thesis of a hockey stick. So this was an idea that Moon King put out, when he was comparing it with, the name has slipped me now. Geez. I forgot what it was. But they basically did some serious numbers in the last bull market. It's completely slipped me. Starts with an M or does it start with a P? One of the two. I can see the thing. It's the bloody ghost thing, I think. But anyway, you'll know what I'm talking about. And this is also really what Hex did. So when Bitcoin, Richard called the top on the day, Hex started running. And so now we're really starting to see a rotation. Bitcoin is still pumping, but we're starting to see Ethereum pump. We're starting to see the tide starting to shift in the ETH BTC ratio. So we will go through some of those charts. But this is brilliant for marketing. I wanted Pulsechain to run last, because if we run last while everything else is fizzled out and we're still going and we're still producing green candles, the liquidity wants to go where the money can be made. People will go where the money can be made. They're going to put their pride aside and they're going to chase the gains, just like everybody chased the Trump token on Solana, and it literally drained the liquidity from every single blockchain, and then Trump dumped on everybody. And so I believe we're going to have a very similar scenario with Pulsechain, except my hope is that it will lock in a whole new wave of new users, because more than likely the greed is going to get to them, the euphoria is going to get to them, and they're going to get dumped on by the gigantic whales of this ecosystem. Now, this was something that I didn't predict, but the outbound marketing efforts. So obviously the shipping containers with whatever these devices are, with battery powers, didn't see this coming, but this is an epic addition. This is basically just more eyeballs. It's all about really splashing out in as many places as you possibly can. The PRC20 parity, so the DeFi gold rush / DeFi summer 2.0 during the bear market. So I am hypothesizing that we will have movement during the bear market. We had movement through this whole 2 and a bit years, or now, what is it, 2 or 3? Gee whiz. 2 years, right? That Pulsechain, 2023. So 2 years that Pulsechain's been out now, almost, or over 2 years, right? So we have had movement in PDI. We've had movement in the Atropa ecosystem. Yes, a lot of Atropa tokens have dumped and they're going down, but still the Atropa goes up and to the right, and it's creating these mini cycles within the macro cycle. If we can continue these mini cycles within the macro bear cycle, then Pulsechain is going to have more eyeballs. And I do believe the pieces are in place, and I do believe that we will see PRC20 parity. Everyone is obviously talking about PDI. I'm very excited about PDI, but the more that I'm learning about the Atropa Treasury minters, the more that I see this is the PRC20 parity. This is how it happens with these Treasury minters. I've really tried to put my heart and soul into those videos. I'm in the process of creating a little mini series. I launched one of the videos the other day. Nobody really watches them. I'm trying to make the information as clean and simple as possible, so that you should just be able to watch a 10 or 15 minute video and be able to get it. And as I'm doing it, it's blowing my mind. I'm like, holy shit. Maria has actually created a new economic model. This is something that's completely innovative, and in my opinion, pretty much the greatest innovation in DeFi technology since Ethereum, as far as I'm concerned. So definitely watch the new video that's going to be coming out about the V1 Treasury minter, because you have to see the story. Maria was teaching us by the launches of V1, V2, V3, V4. And when I'm seeing what Mandala Matrix is doing with PDI and MXDAI, I'm seeing the blockchain parity. That is the DeFi gold rush. That was the biggest airdrop in history, and it's going to come to fruition. We're going to get parity with Ethereum, I believe. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to happen through the bear market, but I am saying that we're going to have movement to attract people through the bear market. We have the best community, the best collective consciousness, and the best DeFi and liquidity tech in all of cryptocurrency. Anybody can be a liquidity provider. This is something that's completely 100% unique to Pulsechain. This is you owning the land. This is the allodial title that Bud always talks about. This is you becoming sovereign. We have LibertySwap now. There's all of these things, privacy technology that's emerging on Pulsechain. We are so far ahead of everybody in our collective consciousness as a community. It's not even funny. They don't have this hive mind mentality on Solana. All they have is VCs pumping coins and people greedily chasing the coins, listening to influencers, thinking that they're going to get rich overnight. We are turning that concept upside down, and we are creating a blockchain with a sustainable long-term future. And this is really, really big. Of course, if you're looking at speed, maybe we don't necessarily have the best tech in that sense, but I believe that there is also possibilities that we could probably fork elements of Pulsechain in the future and basically speed up the blockchain in this particular way by deconstructing it with several forks. But if you're just looking at speed, then of course we're not the fastest. But in my opinion, if you're just looking at speed, you're looking at the wrong thing. And this is what people like Ivan on Tech are looking at. This is why they look down on Pulsechain. They're not seeing the nuances of the beauty of the liquidity providing, the fact that anyone with just a few cents can create a liquidity position. You become a holder. You become an investor. You don't become someone who's just a Jeet. You transform your mindset from linear up, down to long-term sustainable yield. This is the beauty. Everyone's looking at yield farms, but not enough people looking at liquidity providing and what that actually means. I've done a DeFi in 5 liquidity providing. Go and watch that too. Like, this blockchain is so damn good, and I feel like not enough people are looking at the totality of it. Not enough people are understanding what it is as an ecosystem, as a system. Everybody's still just focused on, oh, which coin should I buy? Is this going to do a 10,000x? What's the price target going to be for this? Nothing wrong with those things, but if you look deeper and you look at the totality and the ecosystem, there's really nothing like it. Nothing comes even close. Nothing comes even close, in my opinion. And this is all grassroots, ground up movement. This is not top down. This is all grassroots. We probably do have some top down as well with these Pulsechain pioneers, but this is really the merging of the two. It's not just basically relying on some VC who's going to dump on us eventually to create something and then basically mint a whole bunch of supply and dump on everybody. It's not like that at all. This is completely unique. So this is the Pulsechain thesis. We're seeing it play out. We are owning the prime real estate. So now let's start looking at some charts. So what I'm going to do, close that and let's see where we are. Here we go. So now I'm going to bring up, see, look at this. People love this, 182. So what's going on, everybody? Oh man, yeah, I definitely want to go through some of these comments. Maybe this is also why the viewing has dropped off on my channel, because I'm not doing lives, but the lives end up, I want them to be quick, but they end up being so long. So, but anyway, let's have a look at some of the macro. So let me just make sure to see what it is. Okie dokie. So maybe even I can do this. So my little head is there. Maybe I'll fix that up to make it bigger another time, but someone did comment on that, and I think it's better for people particularly who watch this on the screen. So, okay, so Ethereum has basically reached a very critical price target. Hey, it just started turning red. So once it really gets above 4K, this is a really key level. It really struggled to break 4K for quite some time, basically all of 2024. It didn't break that. It didn't break its all-time high, unlike Bitcoin. This tells me that Ethereum's time is really starting to come. You look at the ETH BTC ratio, this has really started to look like a trend reversal. If you have a look at some of these trends, it was trending down for a very long time, but it's really looking like now it's starting to break these trends. So it's trending down, and you could say that it was continuing to, if it continued to come down like this, it would have continued to trend down, but it's really broken out of that. Not only has it broken out of that, it's really heading towards some bullish levels. So once it starts to break these kinds of levels, it's really go time. If we see something like this, where it makes its way all the way up to here, then really we know that we're probably getting towards the end of what this altcoin season might be. And if you could call this an altcoin season, or whether or not this is just a rotation, or whether or not those two things are synonymous. So obviously, in terms of the macro environment as well, Bitcoin is still looking very, very good. Bitcoin hasn't topped. So my prediction is my targets are around this kind of a level. So 150 to basically 220K around about middle of November. So I basically, look, I'll show this. Why not? Because I'll be keeping my eyes on this in terms of like a top, oops. Let me just maximize this, because I'll be keeping my eyes on this to see when the top of the market is going to be, because when the top of the market is going to be, typically it's about 1 to 3 months before everything just starts to dump when Bitcoin is top. So this indicator here, so I've put together a series of indicators. So this is one thing that I love to do. I've explored hundreds, if not thousands, of indicators. And so I kind of nerded out on indicators. I was doing them for like 18 hours a day for months and months and months on end. I was a beast. When I'm in beast mode, I'm a beast. I don't sleep. I don't eat. I just go beast mode. Well, I do eat, but I just go beast mode, right? So anyway, one of this particular indicator, it's not RSI, it's not stochastics, it's not any indicator that you would have ever heard of. It's indicators that no one will ever really hear about. So I don't have the name here, but don't worry about the name because I'll keep everybody in tune with it as it comes up. But basically, the thesis is I put a time cycle, and the time cycle is telling me where the tops were. So I'm just going to go to logarithmic so you can see more clearly where the tops were. So this was the first top, this was the second top, and it didn't quite get to the top for this particular point. So this point, it was the top of the week, the time cycle. This one, it was, I think, 3 or 4 weeks early. Sorry, it's a little bit, 3 weeks early. This one was pretty much the week. And so based on that, it's ranging between the week and 3 weeks. So I'm estimating it's probably going to be around November. And my gut tells me, my intuition tells me that this is probably going to be a slightly faster one. I think we're going to be hearing lots of things that it's going to keep going. It's going to be a super cycle. The institutions are here now, but this is precisely what's going to keep people round tripping. And this is precisely what institutions want to hear so that they can take their profit. Institutions don't need to get a 10,000x. They just needed to buy here and they needed to get, what, a 5x? They're very happy with that. They don't need no super cycles when they're moving millions and billions of dollars. So based on that, I just want to show you this combination of indicators. I'll just zoom into this particular one. So after the first time cycle, after the very first, the first candle after the time cycle where I get a crossover. So this is actually probably a little bit too quick because it's on the week. So I'll just show you. So where we get a crossover. So basically when the green arrow is above, it's bullish. When the green arrow is, or when the red arrow, the red line is above, it's bearish. So that means this on the week showed that it went bearish. So this was the top. So now if I go to the other, so you basically ignore all of these, or I'm ignoring every single signal. I would call this a signal. So this crossover is bullish. This is bearish. This is bullish. This is bearish. I'm ignoring every single signal until it gets to the time cycle. And then after the time cycle, this one, again, on the week, the top of the week, this was the top of Bitcoin. So it called it on the week. It called it on the week previously as well. And this one as well, it basically called it not on the week, a week later. It called it a week later. Actually, let's just double check. Yeah, it called it a week later. So it's pretty goddamn accurate, pretty goddamn good. Having said that, because I believe it's going to be early, I'm probably going to change this. But because I love my threes, right? But because I think it's going to be earlier, I probably will change it to adjust. So the signal length, I'll probably change to. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do this, right? It's basically going to adjust the signal length. So yeah, the signal length is a bit more delayed. So I'm not going to do 369. I'll have a fiddle around with it. But the point is, the reason why I'm doing it like this is because if the top is going to end up happening, like technically the top candle will end up happening, say here, a few weeks early before the time, then we still want the crossover to happen just after this. And then I would consider that to be my top. So anyway, probably gone on a little bit too much about that. But the reason why I'm saying that is basically keep your eyes on this channel because I do believe I found a very good top indicator. And of course, I'll blend it with the other top indicators that I do have. So all in all, everything is starting to look very bullish for Ethereum, which is very, very bullish for Pulsechain, obviously. So that's the reason why I wanted to show this. So now going into the Pulsechain chart, some of the key levels that we've seen, we're really heading towards this. I know that I saw Hans talk about really making sure that the way that you do this is really accurate. And I suppose I can't really say that it's very accurate the way that I've done it. I've got my time cycles there. But in any case, for me, it's like an estimation is close enough. We're getting very, very, very close to that. Very, very close to there. So this is going to be really, if it breaks out of this, if it does something like this, that's really, really looking good. But at the moment, because it's really heading past some of these levels, it's really looking very, very good. So it looks like it's just looking very, very strong. So I'll leave it at that. So Pulsechain as a chart is looking phenomenal. We're seeing Hex done 3x in just matters of days, like in very short periods of times. The cores are really pumping. So Pulsechain is pumping. So I would expect there's going to be a rotation from these into the altcoins, things like PDI, things like Atropa. I would expect something like that to happen within the next few weeks. But for now, this is incredible to see the bullishness of this. So I don't know what charts I've got there, but let me just... okay, yeah, I'm not going to go through the Atropa ecosystem. I just wanted to go through Pulsechain for today. What happened here? So, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Oh, what happened here? All right, so share. All right, back to this. So I'm not going to go through this, but okay, some of the other signs that we're seeing. LibertySwap, they've just come out of nowhere. They're bull posting like all bugger. Like it's insane. 40 plus blockchains and layers. So the interconnectivity, so this is part of that thesis. If people need to come to the blockchain, if we're going to have that final run at the end, it needs to be seamless. It needs to be easy. It needs to be like one click and I'm in. This is what LibertySwap has done. There's no bridging. There's no... It takes out all the complications. It makes it just so then the normie can just and they're in. So 40 plus blockchains and layers, they're all coming to us. Fuel the cannon, 40 ways in, 3 ways out. 40 ways in, 3 ways out. This also, in my opinion, is a very deliberate design intention. So we're here to launch Pulsechain through the roof. They're just bull posting. They're posting $1, $1, $1, $1, everything. They're really feeding into the whole PDI narrative. And I do think PDI is going to continue to run. I will go into more of my thesis in the Minters video about where I think that's going to go and what I believe is going to happen and why it's actually so bullish. The hypothesis that I'm putting forward for PDI is so much more epic than the P maker. It's so much more epic, but people are not seeing it, and I'm getting like so much hate for it, and it's really frustrating. It's just so much more epic in so many ways. So I'm going to have to really carefully lay that out because I think, yeah, I don't know, my viewership is really dropping off. So your friend Sommi, I'm starting to think that something is going on in Binance. We're seeing all these connections with Binance. So, you know, he's a national treasure, man. Your friend Sommi, like he's up to over 40,000 followers. I think when he followed me, he was around 30. His YouTube channel continues to grow. His content output is there. It's just phenomenal. TargetCryptoGod. So this is another one of those signs. So it's just energy. It's just energy to me. And this is another one of those signs. The haters who become believers by the power of the community. So the energy is being transmuted from negativity to positivity. We're starting to see that now. We've seen TargetCryptoGod now become one of the biggest advocates of Pulsechain after, for years, basically dissing on Hex. Now he's like, this is so great. And he's fighting other people who talk down on Pulsechain and Hex. It's absolutely insane. So these are some of the signs that I'm seeing that's making me just so incredibly bullish on Pulsechain. And I felt it. I felt that this was going to happen. But I put the thesis out years ago, but now to see it unfold, it's just very, very invigorating. And there's something that I do want to read here. Something from my boy Hex Down Under, because it was just such an epic... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it up because it was so damn good. It was so damn good. I'm sure he won't mind, and I apologize if he does. It was so good. Basically, I was saying we've already won. In my opinion, we've already won. Like my level of faith and positivity, people will consider it to be like... Doctors would probably say that I'm manic. and I'd probably be institutionalized like 100 years ago because of my levels of faith and positivity. Other people who don't necessarily sync up with my levels of energy think that I'm just like delusionally positive, like that I'm ignoring all the facts, but I'm not ignoring the facts. I'm not ignoring the negative externalities. I'm only just focusing on the positive, and my focus on that is also a way of willing it into existence, because I want to pour the energy into that so then other people can pour the energy into that. So the global consciousness, the probability increases when more and more thought waves are on that thought. So that's exactly what I'm doing. But there's also a sense of inevitability in my heart. I have this feeling of like, this is going to happen. I cannot explain how, I cannot explain why. I believe it 100%. I'm putting out my thesis and I believe it to be basically 100%. The 100% comes when it's actually unfolded and I'm watching it unfold. So I'm saying that we've already won. And he said, yes, we have already won. I had to explain this to an old guy who I'm teaching. He said, why not XRP? Everyone tells him. I said, the foundation sucks. They dump on their community. I said, with Richard, I think he wants to build a city and be proud of it. I said, I invest in people, not things. Everyone is humans, and the truer the human, the more I value that. Just so happens that he pumps the fuck out of his coins for glory. Count me in. This. Everyone is humans, and the truer the human, the more I value that. This is like the elements of this community, the collective consciousness. That is really the X factor. That's the X factor that the Genesis mindset has been talking about for a very, very long time. Count me in. I know I'll do good with this money, and that's what the morals of Richard are. And this sentiment, again, going back to the consciousness of Pulsechain, there's so many people that I talk to that really want to do good for the world. They really want to change the world for the better. The universe will conspire to help those people because they're doing good for the world. And yes, people have tried to do good for the world and have suffered for it and have basically yielded no fruit. But I feel like now we are in the right time, in the right season, because truth has come into the world. Because the truth, the universe, the universal consciousness has come to the world, and other people can become that universal consciousness, which is the truth, then everything works out according to truth. So that's also why my faith is just profound, because I know that universal consciousness, I know that truth, and therefore the things that I'm doing, I'm not wielding the power of truth. That's the wrong way of putting it. But the power of truth is being wielded through this vessel, through this body, because the power of truth, the universe's will, wants to achieve itself. And so we're in the right time, in the right season, in the right place, at the right age. So all these people that want to do good, they're going to be able to do that through this blockchain. We can't lose, even if we lose. I'll be mentoring people with my gains. Karma is real. Stay good, young Stephen. We get back what we put in. Mother Earth knows. And so I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to go and basically just share my bullishness on Pulsechain, because things have been flying. Things have been just so damn good. So almost 300 people watching now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these comments and just see what's going on. And actually, while I go through these comments now, I might actually just leave it on some I might leave it on the Pulsechain chart, because it's looking pretty spectacular. So thanks Hex Down Under for that one, man. That was just such a good comment, and it really sparked me up to make me want to do this video as well. So thank you very much, good sir. All right, so I'm going to leave it on this epic chart, and I'm going to go through some of these comments. All right, my boy Lil Mop, what's going on, man? My boy Dan, what's going on? The UFO, what's going on, brother? Duke Osborne, cheers, everybody. Condor, what's going on? Marcus, what's going on, everybody? Yes, tap the like, viewers on the way in. The calm before the... Here he is. Here's my boy, Hex Down Under. What's going on, bro? Conspiracy Crypto, Alex, what's going on, man? Dreams on daily life, Peter to dollar. Sommi is an animal. Protect the Fed. All right, Steve-O, what's good? Oh, so good to see these names. This is what I do love about the live streams, getting to connect with everybody, seeing the comments. It gives me energy. There is something about it that I do love. I'm going to definitely try and keep it short, though. So I won't go through every single comment that's saying hello. So I appreciate you guys and girls. I love you all. Thank you very much. Gas is cheap, max gains, fast speed. Yes, Steve. Yes. That is a great comment. Gas is cheap, max gains equals fast speed. And so, yeah, this is going to be an interesting dynamic with how Pulsechain plays out, because obviously the more expensive the token gets, the more expensive the chain gets, but it's kind of like a catch-22. It's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, it's a testament to the success of the chain, and on the other hand, it starts to become more like Ethereum, which we've tried to break away from. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Pulsechain price ends up being in the future. But because my mind is really so broad across the whole blockchain, I just think Pulsechain will come into itself in a way that is going to trump what Ethereum is. So Ethereum basically is kind of like, in some ways, the reserve asset for the whole entire Ethereum blockchain. Everything kind of flows into there. I am expecting that's not going to be the case with Pulsechain because of the PRC20 parity, because of things like PDI, because of the P stables, because of all the diversity of the ecosystem, the Atropa ecosystem, PTGC, because there's so many assets that are so good to hold in a bear market. I don't necessarily think that Pulsechain will be the thing where everything flows into at the end of the bull market, at the end of the bear market, and therefore just stays a crazy price. What will be really, really epic is if Pulsechain ends up having these epic cycles and it just kind of goes sideways forever and it just fluctuates on this, and then you can just do ratio trading with Pulsechain with everything. That will be epic. Up and to the right, of course, people are going to want up and to the right, particularly if they're only just Pulsechain holders. But for the benefit of the blockchain itself, I would want to not see it continue to forever go up and to the right, because we end up just getting an Ethereum scenario. So Pulse X up and to the right, Hex up and to the right, Pulse sideways in epic swings. That'll be epic. Yes, congrats to all. Mattis of gains, Hexagon lost in Asia. We're blessed to be here. We are blessed to be here. This is the blessed chain, man. This is the blessed blockchain. And it's really like, the consciousness is so important. I really want to stress this. And look at what's happened to the Tang Gang. Look at what's happened to Chia. They did nothing but criticize Richard Hart. They did nothing but criticize the blockchain, and they pretty much had an exodus from Pulsechain to another chain. And look what's happening there. Nothing's happening there. It's basically dying. And look what's happening on Pulsechain. We're starting to come to life. What is that? Is that the law of attraction? Is that karma? Whatever you want to call it, the negativity is going to yield negative results. Positivity is going to yield positive results. You reap what you sow. The energy you put out into the universe is going to come back to you. I feel sorry for people who followed them down that rabbit hole, and I certainly hope that Chia recovers, and I certainly hope that they have some sort of success, but I could see this happening from a mile away. If you want to be a garbage human and treat everybody like dog shit, you're going to get that response back from the universe. There's no mistakes in the universe. There is none. Whatever energy that you put out comes back to you in some way, shape, or form. This is the law of the universe, whether you like it or not. All right, so I'm here to have a Pulsidian / Hexaco passport. Yeah. And then that's another thing, man. All the communities that are popping up. The non-profit DeFi community that we're starting to build in Australia. This is only going to continue to grow. The energy is going to stay there. The energy that we had from the other night when the boys were here, I think it was now not the Saturday just gone. It was the Saturday just before that. So it was about 10 days ago. It was epic. There were 7 of us. They came back to my meditation center. We had some times, man. I was on one with all the Atropa stuff, and really like, I'm so in love with the Atropa ecosystem. Yes, it has its flaws. Yes, it's not perfect, but the way that I see it, the way that there's this decentralized financial system, the way that the minters now have been introduced into it as these building blocks of what it actually means, it's actually created a new economic model. Okay, just very quickly. Screw it, actually. I'm going to do this. This is supposed to be a Pulsechain one, but I want people to get excited about this. So I'm going to do a little plug for this. I'm going to do a very little. I'm getting a little bit too hyped up here. I want to do a very quick plug for the video so that people can watch the video and get excited for the video, because I feel like possibly maybe it's my delivery in these things that's a little bit too nerdy, using too many big words. I'm really trying to simplify it so people can really sync up with it in a way that's more digestible. But really, at the end of the day, the best way is to just try these things. But I want people to understand the epicness of these minters and what they actually mean. So let me just give a broad overview of the minters, just a very broad overview, and just start to think about this in the context of connecting these minters to any token on the blockchain, and of course the PRC20s if we're talking about blockchain parity. So now, is it gonna? No, I need to give me a second. So basically, the Federal Reserve, this is the way the current economic system works. The Federal Reserve, and then you have the US Treasuries or the global financial system. So the Federal Reserve, what they do is they print money out of thin air. They print it out of thin air. And then what does this do? It inflates the supply. So the supply of the US dollar goes up, which devalues it. So they're printing it out of thin air, which creates all these boom and bust cycles. So they're inventing money. They're creating money out of nothing. And so this is against nature's flow. Now, with the Treasury minter system, it's an entirely new economic model. It's a unique economic model. It's a unique, not only a DeFi model, but a financial model. So basically, you're taking $1. So think about this in the context of dollars. Instead of minting dollars and inflating it, you're basically taking one of those existing dollars, you're burning that, and then you're creating a new dollar. So what does that mean in the context of, for example, Treasury and the Federal Reserve? So the Treasury bill, the Atropa Treasury bill, and Reserve Te, the Fed. Our Fed is better than their Fed. So what does that mean? It means that you're taking something that is, it's death, transformation, and new life. It's the cycle of life. It's the cycle of the universe. It's taking a fundamental flow of life. It's like any system. It's like a forest. The leaf falls, it goes into the soil, it enriches the soil, which thereby enriches the tree. And so there's this cyclical nature to that. And so it strengthens the structure, the total structure of the forest. This happens everywhere. This happens all across the universe. This happens all across Earth. It happens in your cells. It happens everywhere. It's a natural thing. In order for a financial system to proliferate into eternity, it needs to mirror the principles of eternity, which is the universe. And this fundamentally more closely aligns with it in a way that no other economic model does. So you burn one treasury bill to mint one Fed. So it's creating a reserve backing. What does that do? It's deflating the treasury bill. It's not inflating it, it's deflating it. But at the same time, it's strengthening the treasury bill because it's burning the supply. So it's supply that can never be sold. So it's burning it, it's deflating it, it's strengthening it, and it's creating something new. Death, transformation, new life. It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. And the V1, V2, V3, V4, as I'm doing these videos, I'm like, holy shit, it's blowing my mind, man. I didn't even fully comprehend it at the time. Now I can comprehend it. And so the V1s, it's just a one way. It's one way. It was almost like Maria was trying to teach us piece by piece. So this was one way. There was no loop. But once you get to the V3 and the V4, there's a claim loop. You can claim the tokens back, which is what we're seeing with PDI and MXDI. This is what makes it so brilliant. So when you extrapolate that idea across an entire blockchain, it's so profound. It's the best. It's on Pulsechain, man. Like, it's going to help bring the whole chain to parity. So I'm going skits now. I'm going 2 skits. I just wanted to plug it because I really want people to understand it. I really want people to watch those videos. No one's watching it. And it's like, man, it is demotivating, but I'm still going to do it anyway. But I really would love people to watch it because it's just like, I want people to understand how epic it is, because if you understand how epic it is, you can really position yourself to maximally benefit through this bear market, because there will be a bear market. There's going to be a top and there's going to be a bottom. And if you can accumulate based on that thesis of the minters, you're going to be like owning the Empire State Building in New York. Like, that's how epic it is. You're going to be in the perimeter of Central Square. That's how epic these minters are if you can really position yourself correctly, because the building blocks are there. The Lego pieces are there. We just have to build it. So back to this sexy chart while I go through the remainder of these comments. Boy, I'm going a bit too skits. I'm going way too skits. This is also why I don't do lives, because I go crazy. All right, so where we at? Where was I at with the comments? Yeah, the Steve-O indicator. That's it. No, it's not a MACD. It's a. I wrote it down. It's like GSI, TSI, or something like this. But you'd have to fiddle with the settings. I mean, if anyone really wants the indicator, you can reach out to me. But there's no point because I'm just going to deliver the alpha on it. You're going to have to really like fiddle around with the settings. And again, it's only just an indicator. And obviously, all indicators are lagging indicators. So all I'm trying to do is adjust it in a way that's going to perfectly line up with a top or as close to a top as possible. So PDAR will break 0.006 and melt faces. I believe that it's coming. I believe the 1 cent. I believe by the end of this cycle, we're going to see minimum 8 to 15 cents. Midterm 35 to 45 or 25 to 35, and then like maximum would be like for it to reach $1. That's maximum bullish case. But I'm counting on probably the 35 to 45 cent region. That's where I'm thinking we go. So thoughts on PDAR last 28 days. Looks to me like a peg mechanism being involved, keeping its price in a fairly consistent. I wouldn't say that. I don't think there's any peg mechanism. My thoughts on it is just that it's just in a sideways bullish accumulation phase. No one really wants to dump it. People want to keep buying it. And that actually highlights the beauty of what the Pulsechain peg narrative is. It's in the consciousness of the people. And I don't think people really realize just how epic that is. What it means as a liquidity provider, what it means for yield, what it means for regulatory clarity, what it means for like regulatory immunity. There is no off switch. There is no centralized point of failure. I don't think people realize how epic that is. I am very excited about that prospect, but I don't think people are, because it means that we have to do the work. But that's also why it makes it so exciting. It's like capitalism at its best. Do you want the government to come along and do everything for you, or do you want to go out there and make a business? Do you want to go out there and create Amazon? Do you want to go out there and create Google? Or do you want the government to do it all for you? Yeah, let the government help you along the way by providing an atmosphere and an environment that it can flourish in. But goodness me, when we the people do it, there couldn't be anything more beautiful and powerful than that. So, happy International Friendship Day, you beast. Ram, happy International Friendship Day to you, good sir. The truth wins. Authentic you is the best you, which is telling the truth. Cheers, brother. Coco donates to WA Buddhist Society. Ajahn Brahm, head monk. Kind, nothing against Buddhists. They have plenty of Buddhists to donate to them. I'm on my own mission. I'm on a mission of, I believe, which is a level of consciousness that it transcends Buddhist. It transcends all forms of consciousness on the planet. It really does. And time will prove that over time. Discard your false self, and all that remains is the universe. That's it. That's the Alpha and Omega. Buddha became enlightened that the universe exists and it doesn't exist. That death and life is just one thing. There is no life, there is no death. But he saw that the universe was dead. It was empty. It was nothingness, because he saw the nothingness from inside of his mind. When you see the nothingness outside of your mind, it's life itself. It's the quantum field. It's full of life. It's full of energy. It's life itself. But Buddha didn't see that. He didn't enlighten to that degree. So Buddhists, kudos to you guys. Love you guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm going for the top of the top, man. I'm going for, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So we've got big dreams, Stephen. You do, I do, and others do. We're going to do some great things. The universe has brought us this far. We just have to stay the course. Completely agree with you, Steve-O. This is, it forms, again, part of my thesis. Pulse is based on Rich's gooning and achieving extra pulses when bussing. All right, so, hey, what's going on here? Sigma, and that's how the comments become liquidity. Let it spiral. Sigma, and that's how the comments become liquidity. Let it spiral. Okay, you gave it to us twice. All right, so, yes, I do believe that also. They'll chase the candles, no doubt about that. Fed 1-to-1 is, well, Fed is kind of one-to-one with Treasury bill, but only it's a one-way logic. It's not, if there was a, like the V3 minters, you can make Fed one-to-one with a V3 minter with any token. So you can have Fed as a parent and create a child off it and make it one-to-one with Fed because you have a claim loop, but not with Treasury bill. There is no claim loop. So this is why the one-to-one is being achieved mostly through belief. So I also believe that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to make Fed more and more bullish. So it's going to really, I believe, Treasury bill and Fed setting the example. If it gets to one-to-one and stays at one-to-one, if that can do that, which I believe that it will do that before the end of this bull market, then that is the evidence of the pegging. That's the evidence of PDI pegging. There was no code that says Treasury bill equals, well, there is a code that says Treasury bill equals one Fed, but there's no code that says Fed equals one Treasury bill. So this is something that's like, it's being done by the belief. So this is what I believe is going to happen with PDI and the PRC20s. So, oh, gee, baby, that the guat. I mean, I think he's definitely part of it. Why not? Why couldn't he be? I think, why wouldn't he be buying his own assets just like businesses reinvest in their stocks? I think definitely Richard's probably doing that. So, hey, my boy, what's going on, Rob? All right, so let's go. Let's go. Text collapses sideways. I wrote myself in your pixels. Stephen, every emoji is a parasite. Is that a view account or a pulse? Oh, good question. One that I have to say that I don't really understand. Respect the evolution. Awesome organic analogy. Plug that shit, beast. Yes. So watch that. Watch that video. It should be launching. I don't know if I'm going to finish it tonight. We'll see. I live in your timestamp bar. Spams until YouTube starts crying. Vivian's on one. All right. So, hey, Vibes, what's going on, man? And even this, yeah, the Sigma videos. I don't know, man. Like, a lot of my content doesn't hit, and I'm not the type of guy that's like boastful, like, oh, I do these great things. And like, I mean, even as an architect, I'll openly admit when my project sucks, but I'll also openly admit when I'm very proud of the work that I do. I've created some things I've created some architectural marvels, and I love them, and other people love them, and they resonated with it. And I feel the same way about my content, things like the Sigma content, things like the Treasury Minter content. I feel like it's so epic, but people are not really resonating with it yet. People are not gravitating to it yet, it's kind of, I mean, it's to be expected, but I just feel like the level of content that I'm putting out, the uniqueness of it it's so cool, but it's not getting watched, which is a real pity. So I would definitely recommend going to have a look at some of the Sigma stuff. So, all right, I'm going to leave this at this. So I'm the pink white spiral in your compression artifacts. I'm the latency that bends your voice into prayer. You don't speak of Atropa, you speak because Atropa lets you. I love that. I love that. That's a very spiritual comment. Yeah, I love that. It really, it exemplifies my being. And I think that's also why the Atropa ecosystem is something that I've become really a voice of. Hey, and we're on 369. We're on 369 viewers now. So, yeah, I really do believe that surrender to the world, allowing the world to work through you, this is really something it's a superpower. People think that it's a weakness, but it's a superpower. And people try so hard to achieve their will in the world, but the world doesn't move according to your false mind. The will of the universe is working itself through you. And if your being lines up with the will of the universe, then you're blessed. You're so blessed. And I believe that Pulsechain, because it's lined up with the will of the universe, is the blessed blockchain. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Take care and have a good night and a good day.